How is your life different as a child than it is for children today?
Um, Back when I was a child, we were told to go outside and play. We weren't allowed to sit in the house. Um, if you misbehaved, you got a spanking. That was normal. That was everyday life. Um, there was no um, talking back because if you talk back to your parents, you were going to get slapped across the mouth. You weren't disrespecting your parents. You weren't disrespecting elders, whether it be people you knew, family, or complete strangers. You were respectful.
If you grew up on a farm, what was a typical day like?
Well, I didn't grow up on a farm, but both of my parents did, and they were up early in the morning. 5 6 a.m. And you had to feed the animals, milk the cows, gather the eggs, and they did all of that before they went to school. Um, I did grow up having animals, dogs, cats, horses, and I mean we had to get up and those things had to be taken care of before you went to school. So I had that part.
Can you give examples of the prices you paid for items like bread, shoes, or soda when you were younger?
We went to McDonald's and um, a cheeseburger was less than $1. I don't remember the exact amount. Um, Bread was less than $1, maybe 50 cents for a whole loaf. We had sodas in the house. Um, I don't really know what they cost back then, but you got a 6 packs of soda, and my mom would buy like 1 6 pack, maybe two a week, and they came in glass bottles, and you had to take those bottles back and turn them in, and you got money off of your grocery bill for that.
What is the earliest event or person of historical significance you can remember?
President Ronald Reagan, my favorite president.
How were schools different than they are now?
Um, Schools, teachers could spank you, and they didn't have to call your parents to tell you. Um, and we were actually taught um, how to read and write, and we're taught phonics, um, and how to do math, not new math, real math. Um,
Not algebra.
Not until you got older. It was not taught in elementary school.
Yeah.
It was not taught until you got up into, back in my day, it was junior high. It wasn't middle school, it was junior high school. And it wasn't until you got into 8th grade that that was even taught.
So you lived through the 70s and 80s and other historical events. Which ones did you live through?
I was born the year that Kennedy was shot, so I don't remember that. I don't remember Watergate. I remember learning about it as I got older. Um, I was there. I remember wasn't there, but I remember when President Reagan was shot. There was an assassination attempt on him. I remember when President Reagan told Gorbachev to tear down the wall. Um, I remember being um, in the dining room. We had a TV in the dining room, and me and my father were watching the news when President Bush came on. The first Bush came on and uh, said, "We are at war," and it was the beginning of the Gulf War. And I was there. I remember 9/11, of course. That I was at work that day, and we were in the conference room. We had a TV in there, and we were all gathered around that. Um, and my ex-husband now, well, he's my ex-husband then too, but he, I remember, him and I talking because he had my oldest two children that day, your brother and sister, and him calling and saying, "Hey, I'm going to the school. I'm going to pick them up and bring them home to make sure everything's okay," because everybody was concerned about the schools being bombed. Um, and of course, more current, um, Obama being the first African American president, and then Trump's attempted assassination, and
COVID.
oh yeah, COVID, woohoo!
So the Rocket, you watched it on TV, right?
Yes, I was in high school. That was my is that my junior year, I think. In high school, that was playing in every class. My high school, every classroom had TVs, and I think just about every teacher had that playing. That was a devastating day.
Do you remember the name of it?
I want to say Challenger. Honestly, I can't remember, but the school teacher. I think that's what was the most devastating. It was the first time a civilian was ever allowed to go up into space, and she had won the opportunity to do that, and then that explosion.
In your lifetime, what has been society's greatest challenge?
I think that in the last few years of my life, society has faced its greatest challenge in lack of concern for human life. You can't help anyone without grabbing a cell phone to record you're helping someone, and so many senseless shootings of people that just you don't agree with my view, so I'm just going to shoot up this school, or I'm going to shoot this through this crowd, or I'm going to shoot you.
What observations can you make about the changing American standard of living and economic health?
I think the economic health and the American standard of living, I think most of that change has come through people focus too much on material. So we have to work more and make more to have more, and we're not content with the simple things in life anymore.
Are Americans more politically divided today than they were earlier in your lifetime?
Absolutely, way more divided today. Because you have those that I'm just going to call it like we call it. You have those left leaning who want to accept everything coming and going, from children being able to identify as a furry, and those on the right who can go really too far to the right too, and it just divides our whole nation. You can't even if you find two people of different political views, to get them to sit down and actually have a conversation about it, it's almost never going to happen.
All they do is yell at each other.
Yeah.
What intervention or a technical advancement has had the most dramatic impact on your life?
the advancement of computers
Mm.
and what you can do on them. They went from being these huge, massive, um, large components, monster machines to be able to spit out just a little bit of data to now we basically carry them in our hand on our smartphones, and everything that you can do on that little device is amazing. It's kind of like um, watching Star Trek, but in real time.
How has the role of women in the home, workplace, and community changed in your lifetime?
um, when I was a kid, most mothers stayed home. They did not work. They took care of the family, and when I came home from school, mom was at home, and dinner was ready when dad got home. We ate dinner, we got up, we all cleaned up, and then either doing they were helping me do schoolwork. The mother nurtured. Now, um, most moms have to work, and they are not able to stay home.
They're
Um,
expected to work now.
they're expected. Yes, they are expected to work now, and and when a mom didn't have to work, she was able to be there at the school, to help at the school where her children went, to participate in different activities that the school may be having and field trips and stuff. So, um, big difference now because there's so many times a parent might want to do that, a mother may want to do that rather, and she just does not have that opportunity.
If you could live your life over, what would you do differently?
Um, I would have taken my education more serious. Um, Instead of technical school, not that there's anything wrong with that. I think we need that, um, because you need mechanics and you need craftsmen. But I would have looked more and dug deeper into myself as to what I wanted to be, and I would have gone to school to be an accountant.
What advice would you give to future generations?
Um, Work hard on your studies. Shoot for the stars, and I hope you get halfway there. Keep God first, family second, and your nation third.
All right. And that is all for our interview. Thank you so much for talking with me today.